Harold. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one, I guess. So this last weekend, the product just dropped 2 of them. I only got the Harri one because I've never really cared about Night Rose, but you may know that before I was the Gear Chronicle guy, before the One Tree Clan existed, my dark state of choice was, of course, the Pale Moon Circus. Part of why I love Direful Dolls so much, Nightmare Dolls are my other favorite version of this deck. But all Pale Moon girls, best girls, freaking love Luna and G-Series, and of course, Harri was her card. So I like Harri, it's probably my second favorite version of Pale Moon outside of Nightmare Dolls. That said, we haven't really covered it yet on the channel through all the releases because I was going to wait for the deck itself to be released for full breakdown, so that's what we're doing today. Make sure you stick around afterwards because I am going to be going into some other tech options, and as always, there will be an outro. Am I really going to transition? So today we are looking only at the normal version of the deck set, not the premium one. Mainly because I went premium way back in the day when my boy Chronojet came out, and we all thought, oh hey, Gear Chronicle's getting a special thing, and Stride deck set, Gear Chronicle has to be Stride. Obvious. The Avatar. But then they started doing like Messiah and Pyranui and all that other stuff, and I don't care anymore, so they could just have a normal one. That said, look at the size of this. Is the size you'll get of the Stride premium box. It also contains a nice little deck box that's kind of like this, which no sad about. These are really good deck boxes, but honestly, if you're just looking at like this guy, you're only gonna be able to fit one of them inside these boxes, so it doesn't matter anyways. I guess you can maybe fit more in here. I don't know, let's open up, reveal the fact that this is in fact my premium Gear Chronicle collection now. Chunky enough. Yeah, you could probably fit a couple of these boys in here, side to side, like 4 of them maybe. Deck space that wise, you fit a lot more than normal size deck boxes in, because these are a little chunkier. So, very good. Love this deck box design. It'll be great if I can get one from Gear Chronicle, but let's look at the actual set, I guess. And of course, the only other thing that we're really missing out on, besides who knows what our special run there, is the special Harri mat. So I'm gonna today be using a special Harri mat. This is the 0 damage design I got way back today. That's way better because that's freaking Luna Avatar riding, and I love it so much. It's one of my favorite non-official mats. And let's open up, dive on in, pop this bad boy off. You got the box holder right here. The Harri design on it, very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. Honestly, the old one's better because it's got Luna on it, but a real quick size comparison actually. I believe this is a little bit larger than the old version of this deck, just not by much, but just a little bit, so a little bit more storage in it. Just, this is better design, Pale Moon girls, best girls. Open it up. We got the deck, of course, what you guys all care about. We still do have sleeves. Still nice set of good Vanguard Harri sleeves, so this might go on the deck. Some power counters, of course. And is there anything else? Might be it. Oh no, that's it. We don't get a cool deck box. This is the cool deck box. So without further ado, let the deck breakdown begin. So we got a deck containing cards of the Harri variety. How magical. Let's go back real quick. Looks like there's a foil card. Is there a foil? No, that's just the crest. Drops the crest on its own. Because the ride lines are all basically the same, where like you go 0 to 1, get this boy, then do a thing, do a thing. So the Harri crest shares the same skills as everything else. You can stride Harri. You have to ride Harri. Your Harri becomes a 13k. The more things you have faces in your G-Zone, the bigger your cards get. And its own individual skill is a GB2. At the end of your turn, if 2 more of your cards were put in the soul during the end phase of this turn, you're able to draw a card. So that's pretty good. Spoilers, old Magia basically just takes your field and puts it back in soul at the end of turn. So that just lets you draw a card whenever you Magia, assuming you're able to Magia 2 cards. Not bad. Compared to the other crest abilities, I feel like I'll do a tier list later or something. I don't know. You also get an energy counter. Isn't that great? So you keep track of energy. I kind of want to do this. I need to get an acrylic, but I kind of like doing this. He fits. So if you guys just need your new energy support and you somehow haven't gotten it last year, here's a free generator energy cast in the deck. Isn't that neat? Look at all these crests. You got 3 crests. Moving on to the deck itself, we got Harri himself, the main grade 3. Look, there's the ride line. Who has 2 abilities. First of all, his GB2 when it attacks, choose up to 1 card from your soul, call it to rear guard, and it gets +3. So you're able to generate attacks even if you're not striding. This is great for some combos that we'll go into a little bit. And of course, his on-stride ability, Counterblast 1, Soul Charge 1. Choose 1 card from your soul to the rear guard, and that card gets +5 until end of turn. At the end of turn, put that card back into soul. Boom, that's half the cost of your crest right there. You just find anything that goes back to soul at end of turn. Pretty good setup. I like his GB2 a lot. The fact that like if you're not even able to stride, you can still generate a multi-attack turn. I mean, GB2, you'll also be a +10 on your front row, so take that as you will. This is grade 1. You don't care about the grade 1 and the grade 0. They all do the same thing. Just as your crest. But the grade 2 has an actual skill. That is, was rated upon by Harri. Soul Blast 1. Look at top 7 cards of your deck. Choose up to 2 normal units for that sentinel. Put one of them into your hand, and the other one goes into soul. then when placed from rearguard, Soul gets +1. No one cares about that part except, I guess, if you need a target, she gets some power. The important part is the filter. I believe that the Night Rose one does something similar where you check top 7, put one in grave, and the other goes in the hands. Set up city. There you go. Top 7 is a decent chunk of the deck. 3 more Harrys. 3 more Do you get multiple Jacquelines? Okay, that's weird. Most of the time, Rideline cards, you only get one of those. So you have 3 more Jacquelines. If you want to use that rearguard ability, just most place from Soul will be a 15k, I guess. That's neat. Moving on to the other grade 3 of the deck, this is a card that I actually really like a lot. That is the Flying Manticore. It has a handful of abilities for Harry. First of all, Magia, there's the keyword that we're looking for. Magia, real quick, is just a skill that end of turn, the card called out with Magia goes back to Soul. Very similar to Hollow. Once again, parallel this to the Night Rose deck that I'm not going over on this channel. Unless I get a guest that wants to help me go over Night Rose. Because the closest that you get on this channel is that I made a bunch of proxies to test against for VCS. Anyways, when this kitty cat is in Magia, it gains the GB1 skill. If you did not call a card from your Soul during the battle phase this turn, counter +1, put it in Soul, choose a card that's different from him, and call it to rearguard. So basically, this is going to give you a guaranteed 4th attack as long as you attack with him first. And once again, with Harry, if you're on a non-strat turn, you go meow, attack with him first, shove him in Soul, call something out, do the attack thing, then Harry attacks, call another thing out of Soul. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks right there without doing anything. So Kitty Cat is a huge attack extender. Of course, this once per turn because otherwise that would be insane. And I guess she has another effect. When it's discarded, you draw a card. No one cares about that. That's the same that all the rearguard grade 3s do. This is really good though. Like, honestly, top tier. This is one of the best cards in the deck just because it's able to generate attack for a very minimalistic reason. Then moving from the best card in the deck to one of the ones that I'm it's like the second time in a week that I've talked about Direful Doll. That does not work in Direful Dolls. Alright, so Hornetta is a grade 2. It's got 2 different skills. When it's put on guard, you can Soul Charge 1. Very nice, fill up your Soul. Obviously, it's a Soul-based deck. When it's placed on rearguard from hand, if you have a Harry, look at your top 5 cards, choose up to one of them, put in the Soul, and shuffle deck. It's a good card. It's a top 5, put anything in Soul. That's setup. If you guard, you're not going to, because I'd rather just specific Soul Charge versus random Soul Charge, but it's a Direful Doll. That doesn't work for Direful Dolls. And I hate having to say that as a Direful Doll player. More freely than anyone, the dolls dance wildly in the air. Next up is Darkside Princess, a retrained card that is basically a beater for a deck. First of all, at the end of the battle that's attacked you, put this in the Soul. So right there, this is your combo piece with Chimera and Harry. And the fact that, like I showed you before, Chimera goes to Soul, calls a card out, you're gonna basically be calling this out, and this will go back to Soul. That's 1, 2 attacks right there. Harry's skill calls back out of Soul. 4 attacks, and she goes back in Soul at the end. So right there, you have a very solid 4 attack turn without doing anything. And that's without even striding. I haven't even gone to strides yet. But I said she's a beater because she has a GB1 when it's placed from rearguard to Soul. If you have a Harry, this gets +10. And if you have 2 more cards in your G-Zone, it gets +15 instead. +10 at GB1 is going to basically be +15 because you have GB1's going to have 1 card face up in the G-Zone for the crest. And GB2 will be +10 on top of that. So you're looking at a 10, 25, 35k beater for absolutely no reason. That goes back to Soul. Really, 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 really strong. The only thing I regret is that the version of Night Rose also has Gar on it. Cutie Paratrooper, speaking of old cards that get retrained, is another card with the Magia ability. When it's placed other than battle phase, if you have grade 3, put a card with a different card name into Soul, choose another card from your Soul, call it to rearguard. At the end of the turn, call that card back to Soul. Couple things here. First of all, this card basically is able to set you up out of anything because you just take a rearguard that doesn't matter, shove it in Soul, call anything that you want out of Soul because you're setting up this entire game. That's how the deck works. And you are given that card Mag the ability to go back to Soul to help pump up the crest. I don't know if that's like cake or just a bag. It's a cake bag now. Taylor Swift. Cutie Paratrooper is quite the cutie of a paratrooper because she has a nice little ability to help you set up out of anywhere. Once again, this compares to a card that is in the Night Rose deck as well, but I believe that's a grade 2. So grade 1 versus grade 2. You could do this turn 3. That's nice. This gives you early game aggro because it's not GB locked at all. You just have to be grade 3. So if you go first, you do have the ability to do something. Go into this. Are you GB1? Yeah, Manticore is GB1. Otherwise, that'd be insane. I'm sure some Cutie Paratrooper things you can do. Cutie Paratrooper. Stride Searcher. This is your clone of basically anything that's in any deck where you discard it, constantly grade 3, and you search for a Herald. Probably gonna run like 1 to 3 of these, I don't know. Then we got the Lunging Assistant, which is a brand new card. It has the ability that when placed from hand, you can Soul Charge 2. I don't feel like we're gonna run this. I mean, this is Darkseid. We have X billion other Soul Chargers for if you want blind Soul Charge, which I'll go into in just a second when I talk about replacement cards, but I'm glad that we have one out of deck, so if you need to play it out of deck, you have the ability to. You got your Perfect Guard, which I'm so happy to get Darkseid Mirror Master back. I would love it if she was Direful Doll instead of Succubus, but we take what we get. This art is amazing. She's one of my favorite Pale Moon Perfect Guards. I'm glad that she came back. Standard skill, discard card. If you have one or less cards at the end, don't discard card. Look, we get over trigger. Trigger lineup, we're looking at crits, draws, fronts, heals, the generic. No one cares about that. You can play rainbow. It's only short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. It sets you short one draw trigger in the rainbow for the over trigger. Honestly, that's fine. If I was playing a stride deck, I typically just go for front triggers anyways, just because you don't want to draw because you're triple driving every single turn, and you probably have some way to set up cards to protect things and stuff, so front is fine. I would probably run this 8 crit 3 front right off the bat, just because while you are multi-attacking, you probably get Vanguard in the middle turn to make fronts work. Crits is good for early game. You need early game in stride decks because they don't really do much until turn 3 onward, unfortunately. Speaking of strides, let's get to the fun part, shall we? So of course, just like any stride deck, we have 2 strides. I don't know why they listed finisher in front. Mr. Happy Dragon right here, the Jester Dragon. I love this full art. This looks so nice. It's the only reason I'm sad about not getting the Max Rarity set because oh no, I have normal ones. That's fine. It's not Gear Chronicle. It doesn't need to be max rarity. One skill, obviously the stride cost is the generic one, unlike the other strides we'll talk about in a second. And his ability is, once per turn, activate Magia. Look at top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 among them, put the soul, shuffle your deck, and then choose 1 card from your soul cult to rearguard. At the end of the turn, that card goes back to soul. Hold on. Mr. Dragon. Mr. Dragon. You are literally a Direful Doll. It's the exact same skill, except it calls card asshole. Okay. There you go. That's all you need to say about him. Direful Doll, Jester Dragon. The cool thing, of course, is that he is your flip card up. So as soon as you flip a card, you go to GB2, boom, more power in the crest. Always gonna be a first turn stride. No one cares. You can go into multiple times if you don't have your optimal setup after your first stride turn, I guess. Here's one people care about. Look at this Pop. Pop the Pigeon is a dragon. Vanguard lore, 101. So we have a Harri evolution here, Dragon Masquerade Harri, who of course needs you to discard a Harri from your hand to stride with, just like Next Stage or any of the other special strides. So that's one of the reasons that you are going to be running a couple copies of your Masquerade Bunny to get them back in hand. He has a skill at GB2. When this unit attacks, counterblast 1, put 2 rearguards into soul. Choose up to 2 rearguards with different card names from your soul, call them to rearguards, choose up to 2 of your opponent's rearguards, and put them into soul. At the end of the battle, you put all cards in rear and soul. His Magia ability, everyone cares because that is 2 cards going to soul for ability at the end phase. Hello Crest, draw card. So this is your attack extender. Gives you 5 attacks on its own. Because you go rear, yum, eat them up, get 2 rears. And of course, the cool thing with this once again is that classic combo that I showed you at the beginning with Chimera first. Then you go Dark Side Princess. That's 2 attacks right there. Then you go rear guard, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe something else to chain it. I don't know. I cycle chain afterwards, but this is basically a 4 to 6 attack deck, which is solid given the fact that it's going to have scaling numbers and maybe a little bit of early game. And more importantly, the fact that he takes 2 of those opponent's rear guards, puts him in the soul. You got control, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Alright, so here on everyone's favorite deck building official page, thank you Bushiroad for giving us deck builder. Makes things oh so easier. Because I want to talk about a few different tech options. First of all, you know how I said soul charges at the beginning? There are a handful of options that you can play just to ram soul charge, but of course, you can't beat the 2 classics. Brainwash Spoiler, of course, will be able to be a 13k attack on his own, so that hits numbers right there. The only thing is that's really all you're going to be doing with him because the deck doesn't really random soul charge, it just swaps from skills. But like, if you're just doing a 1-for-1 soul charge, being a 13k is not a bad idea. Only bad part of that being that he won't really pop off until turn 3, unfortunately, because your Vanguard does need to be a grade 3 for this effect to actually give him power. What doesn't require that power, though, is my good friend Gungaram, the OG Gear Chronicle looking card with the gun. Once again, I'll play Soul Charge, but his skill is a Soul Blast 3 to draw card. If you need hand advantage, there you go. One of the things with this deck is after you have Engine ready and you keep on Soul Charging, the Soul doesn't matter after those few cards that you actually need in Soul. So, boom, there you go. Still a solid option. You can build him up front, turn 1 for an 8k attack for some more early aggression. Later on with Crest, he's going to get more power, obviously, so he can still swing on his own. It's a solid pick. You never really need to worry about the number. Also, we're talking about like on attack ones that Soul Charge. Grade 2 option right here. I've never really been the biggest fan of him in the past, but I mean, turn 2 attacker. Lets you get a free soul charge thing, and if he happens to be randomly put in soul, you could eject him out to get some power. Pretty solid, once again, an early game option, and if you happen to randomly soul charge him and need to hit numbers, there you go. Then the final soul charge piece I will talk about leads directly into the next section, and that is our energy charge cards. Right here we got Clockwise. It's your standard eject it from the everywhere field, drop zone, wherever, to retrieve a card back from your hand for Energy Blast 3. This is great because obviously the deck itself doesn't use energy, it's just a support card. So EV3 is just your energy for the turn, always free. This card is great for ride line because you just discard whatever, getting right back. It's also really good for your stride cost, especially on the Harry turns. If you just want to keep on popping Harry back and forth without worrying about Masquerade Bunny, right here, just energy blast so you get him back for free. Of course, it does go in the soul thing. When placed on rearguard, you get the soul charge 1, but that is a little bit restricted because you have to be an equal or lower grade to your opponents. Obviously, once you hit your turn 4 and you start striding, that's not going to happen. But I guess it's really good going second, which you want to do anyways. So first 3 turns, you get a free soul charge. The most important part is the second effect, though, so you can just completely block out that first one. Of course, you can't talk about energy cards without your energy cycler for the deck. You can also run the normal soul blast version of the grade 2, but honestly, in a stride based deck, I would focus more on these than the soul blast ones, simply because they both work only on persona ride turns after your ride line is finished, and obviously stride decks do not persona ride. End of story. Because what makes these ones really good is you can use them on Guardian as well. So you can start guarding with them, energy blast, and you draw a card. Really good? These are like, what, $40, $50 now, something like that? I don't know. I picked them up at the very beginning because the clan split also came with Direful Dolls and Greedon, so. Speaking of new expensive cards, there's a couple of other options for early game aggression in either Vidrock or forward and reverse. I'd probably run Revertis over the Vidrock unless you know you're going to be going into a meta with Langmire or anything, something like that. But they both basically do the same thing, where on plays other than battle phase, you're able to pick Soul Charge and a Counter Blast, choose a grade 2 or lower from your soul, and call it out. Like I said, I prefer forward and Revertis on this because number one, it gets a +5 as well, making it able to hit 15 on its own, great early game. And number two, it also has an option right here to retire your opponent's grade 2 or greater rear guard, so you also have Yellow control of him. Vadrox might be a little bit more affordable to get because it's a single nation as opposed to dual nation card. This one might be a little better to activate with Key Paratrooper because it does activate outside the battle phase in general, not just when called from hand or whatever like Revertis does, but lacks the control option that Revertis does. And in addition to that, has a nice little line down here that matters specifically for if you go into the matchup against the card that this card is played in, freaking Blangmire, and if you happen to have a bunch of cards bound face down to get some power. That's good. Like I said, do you want to be able to have more consistency in this or more versatility in this? Finally, to help load up your soul, you have a couple other cards. Falcratia is a very good Mado. You ignore the second effect. You're never going to be on grade 4 during the end of turn because stride or whatever. When she attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, choose up one card from your drop zone, shove it right back in soul, and then she's going to get power equal to that unit's grade. Too much. I mean, you can hit some nice numbers with it, but the important part is your recycling from your drop zone. Once again, if you have strike costs that don't matter, a piece that somehow got retired that was left outside the field from Magio or whatever, something that you guard with that you want to go back in soul. This gets you set up, makes it ready for Yum Yum time, and then you have happy fun time with Harry. Also, she swings with a big booty sometimes, so that's kind of good. Pale Moon card. Pale Moon card. I like this one a lot better. If your Vanguard is only a Pale Moon in the clan, blah, 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 blah. The important part is when it's placed. You can choose a card from your drop zone, put it in soul. Guess what we just said, except for this one doesn't gain any power or anything. Except it does gain power off his own skill. When it's placed from rear guard, it's +5 or +10 if you play it at any time other than grade 2 turn. So this is just a 23k for free, plus whatever your skills are. And it's just free. It's just a copy of Falcratia that you could potentially use as stride fodder, if you think about it that way. And this one's like $25 now or something. One place from ability, if you have Vanguard's Pale Moon, you could bind this thing, search your deck or your drop zone for a grade 3, add it to hand. Grade 3 searchers. There you go. Get yourself some strides. All I need to say about it. There are some other Pale Moon cards that you could run this deck, but they just don't matter, so I'm not even gonna talk about them. I keep seeing this in deck lists. We play from soul, play it with, oh, you can play from soul, that's fun. You choose one of your units being attacked, gets +15, and it's played from soul, put on bomb deck. Okay, I like that actually. So this is just a trigger guard, it's just 15k shield, whatever, but you can pay it with Energy Blast 3, no use energy for your deck, and if you play it from soul, you're able to turn it back to deck. In addition to that is grade 3, so you can use it for strike cost. Not bad. Try to pick one of these guys up, it's pretty good. Then we get to the part where I get to tell you about weird stuff. Let's start with Desire Devils. So, fun fact, you guys know me, Greedon. I actually made a premium Greedon Pale Moon deck in the past just because of these things I'm about to tell you. Desire Devils will work with this deck. Desire Devils are all about like activate effects when the Vanguard sucks them into soul. Guess what you do in this? Guess what you do during your Harry Stride phase? It is a little limited to the fact that it only really care about the Harry cross stride, but I don't care. I'm going to cover them anyways because it's Greedon cards. We're talking about Greedon cards. Zagido, this is another way to refill your soul. When it's put in the soul by when it's getting towards top line, choose a card from your drop, put it into soul, Yum, 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 yum. More Falcratia, more Rising Dragon. There you go. Funny Bunny, when it's eaten up, counterblast 1, call a card. If you have Big Soul, draw a card. Very good. I don't know. I feel like this works better with the cross stride just because you're eating 2 cards with it and then calling 2 cards out, so you'd be able to call a 3rd card out for a booster or something like that. Mids, Zito's better here so far, but this one is super funny in the ride line grade 1. Goemon, when it goes Yum Yum, counterblast 1. For the rest of your turn, Battledore, your opponent has to use 2 or more cards to guard every single attack. Once again, you're going to be using this Vera Magna style, rear guard, Vanguard swing, nom nom nom, poop out some things. By the way, you ate this, so for the rest of your turn, those 3 attacks remaining, you'll have to use at least 2 cards to guard. That's 6 cards out of hand minimum after they've been doing whatever with the rest of your attacks. Of these 3, I don't think you have a way to really utilize this the best, but absolutely Goemon if you think you're able to generate a lot of attacks, and absolutely Zegito if you have a nice little end phase and you want to just refill soul again. And finally, multi-attack engine. This is my cute tech that I run in everything that works so freaking well. Gear Eagle might be like the most underrated card of all time. Having a skill that says that after an attack this boosted hits, retire this, choose a grade 1 for your soul, call it 2 Rearguard. Essentially, this attack extender, you could run it with any of these other guys. Like I said, one of these to give you an extra soul, or freaking spoiler to give you an extra soul and make him a 13k attacker. The fact of the matter of it retiring, that's fine. What are like half these cards we just talked about? This returns cards to soul. This returns cards to soul. This returns cards to soul. You have a lot of uses of the Gear Eagle, and this gives you an early game option. In addition to attack extending, I think I'd probably do like Cat first. Cat goes to soul, call Darkside Princess in front of this. Darkside swings with a big number. Do they want to guard? You get a free attack off that. +1 attack right there. And for the last thing, his best friend is Jewel Core Dragon, the grade 1 ride line from Drag Neil, Drag Casa, Banasa, Banarium, Obama. It's basically just a 13k attacker slash booster that goes into the soul after it attacks. What's this deck like to do? You go in, you come out. This is the Pale Moon before Pale Moon was Pale Moon. So what do you guys think? Is Herald and the Purple Crayon going to be the deck to beat, or do you stand the other half of Rummy Labyrinth, not including the Bermuda chick? I don't even remember her name. Was it like Saya or something? Or do Nightmare Dolls still continue to still reign supreme? Hashtag Gearmere Circus. Or I guess, I don't know, what's the freaking Silver Thorns? I mean Asuka, but are you gonna be rocking it next week when I see you at Rosemont's? Be sure to stop by, say hi. I may do something, I don't know. I'm not personally going to because I already have another thing planned, but maybe when I go for round 2 at Tampa, we'll see. As always, if you guys enjoy this kind of video, make sure to support me on TCG Play, where I sell all sorts of card game stuff. Shout out to the billions of people that just picked up Ghost Chases off me. Or if you don't want to buy cards, maybe drop me a tip on Ko-Fi because it's like Patreon, but not quite as cool. If you guys are new here and enjoy what I do, be sure to leave a like down below, maybe subscribe. We are so close to 300. Please get me 300 next few weeks for my birthday. That would be a great birthday present. And until next time, see y'all in Chicago, see y'all in Tampa. This is definitely going to go live before Chicago, so that one definitely. And always, embrace the infinite.